I told my husband, "Don't touch me, I have self-respect." The next day, he said it back when I needed help. Now he's acting like I'm the problem. So, I, 32F, consider myself someone with really high standards. I'm not ashamed of that. I take pride in how I carry myself, how I communicate, how I expect things to be in my marriage. I didn't marry down. I didn't choose some lazy guy with no ambition. My husband, Caleb, 34M, is a decent person, but he constantly acts like I'm the one who's supposed to keep everything running emotionally. I've literally said before that I'm the architect of our relationship, and he laughed like it was a joke. It wasn't. Anyway, last week was a mess, and not even because of anything serious. It was stupid stuff, but it piled up. He kept folding towels wrong even after I told him multiple times that the seams go on the inside so the closet looks uniform. He forgot to comment on my outfit when we went out for dinner with his sister, which is basically relationship 101. And then at dinner, he corrected me about something so minor. I said one thing about a restaurant we went to years ago, and he had to actually me in front of everyone. Just ugh. So that night, he tries to be all flirty and handsy and whatever. And normally I'd be into it, but I'm tired. I'm irritated, and honestly I just wanted him to acknowledge that I was annoyed. Instead, he reaches for me, like everything's fine, and I snapped. I said, "Don't touch me, I have self-respect." Yes, I said it like that, with emphasis. I wanted it to land. I wanted him to feel it, because clearly subtlety hasn't worked in this marriage. And he just apologized, quietly, and walked away. Didn't fight, didn't check on me later, didn't even ask what was wrong, just acted like I was some dangerous animal he had to tiptoe around, which somehow pissed me off more because, like, hello? You don't get to turn cold when I'm the one who's upset. The next morning, I woke up with a weird pull in my lower back. Not serious, but annoying. I couldn't sit up right away, so I asked him to help me out of bed. And this man looks directly at me and goes, "Don't touch me, I have self-respect." Same tone, same delivery, same dramatic pause. It was a copy-paste of what I said the night before. I honestly froze. It was humiliating. He made it sound like I'm some pathetic person begging for attention. I told him that was completely uncalled for, and he said he was just giving me what I wanted. No, you idiot. That's not what I wanted. I wanted him to respect what I said, not mock me. So I got myself up, painfully, which he didn't seem to care about, and kind of made a point to walk around the house loudly so he could see I was struggling. He didn't even look up from his stupid laptop, just sipped his coffee like I wasn't basically limping around because of him. I called my best friend to vent, and she straight up said, "Well, you kind of started it." Excuse me? Since when is it a crime to set boundaries? How does that equal giving your spouse permission to throw the exact words back in your face like it's some joke? So now Caleb is acting all calm and cold, which is infuriating. I tried to bring it up again and he said, "You literally said those words first. Why am I not allowed to say them too? Because context matters? Because the dynamic matters? Because I'm the one who keeps our marriage emotionally stable while he casually does whatever he wants and expects me to just absorb it?" He keeps pretending I hurt him, and honestly, I'm starting to think he's doing it to make me feel guilty. He hasn't even tried to touch me since, which I know is some passive-aggressive lesson he's trying to teach me. How do I deal with a husband who thinks equality means throwing my own words back at me like he's trying to win a debate? Because I'm not letting this become the new normal. Update 1. So I didn't expect that many comments, and honestly I shouldn't have even read them because half of you took Caleb's side, like you were all there in my house taking notes. I came back because more stuff happened and I need to set the record straight before everyone keeps twisting things into something they weren't. First of all, I wasn't abusive or controlling. I'm literally reacting to a situation where my husband disrespected me to my face and then doubled down when I needed help. I'm allowed to be upset about that. I'm allowed to expect some level of basic respect in my own house. I don't know when everyone decided husbands get to act however they want, and wives just need to shut up and accept it. That's not how I operate, and it's never been how our relationship works. Anyway, after I posted, Caleb was walking around like everything was totally normal. He was making himself breakfast, washing dishes, humming, whatever, acting totally unbothered. That set me off, because usually when we argue, he tries to talk it out. He wants to fix it. But this time, nothing. He was almost relaxed, and I don't know why, but seeing him so calm made me feel like he was doing it on purpose. Like he wanted me to notice how he wasn't chasing after me or checking on me, like I was supposed to feel guilty or something. Honestly, the whole vibe was so weird. So I decided to give him the silent treatment to see if he would at least try to talk, but he didn't even seem to care. I wasn't slamming cabinets or stomping around, I was just not talking. And he took that as a free pass to stretch out on the couch like he was on vacation. It made me actually mad, because it felt like he was enjoying the break from talking to me. I don't know how to explain it. It felt like he liked the distance, and it pissed me off because we're married. Distance is not supposed to be something he enjoys. So I finally went up to him in the living room and asked if he planned on acknowledging what happened. He said, "I already did yesterday." Which, no, he didn't. He just copied what I said in this weird mocking tone and then acted like that was communication. I told him he basically humiliated me, and he just kept saying I did it first. I don't know why he's obsessed with this "you did it first" stuff. I'm not a child. Marriage isn't schoolyard games. You don't copy your spouse's words to make a point. I asked him if he wanted us to fix this, or if he just wanted to sit there and act like I'm the villain. That's when things started going downhill, because I reached for his phone when he wouldn't look at me, not to snoop, just to get his attention. He snatched it back and looked at me like I was some crazy person trying to cause a scene. Then he walked away and said he needed space, which is honestly the stupidest thing anyone has ever said to me. We live together. Where exactly does space even come from? The house is literally one floor. He left, like physically left, took his keys, grabbed his jacket, and walked out. Didn't say when he'd be back, didn't say where he was going, just left. I tried calling him twice, but he didn't pick up. Eventually he texted saying he was staying at his sister's place just for the night, which is insane, because his sister hates me and has always tried to paint me as difficult. She's one of those people who thinks women should be soft and quiet and agreeable. I'm none of those things, and she's never liked me for it. So of course I drove over there in the morning, because I'm not just going to sit home while my husband hides from me in someone else's guest room. His sister answered the door and immediately gave me attitude, telling me she wasn't letting me in and Caleb was resting. I said he was my husband and I had every right to see him, and she straight up told me I was being disruptive, like I'm some toddler having a meltdown. She treats him like he's her child, not her brother, and she treats me like I'm some outsider intruding on her precious little bubble. I didn't scream or anything, but I did raise my voice because I was frustrated and honestly embarrassed that she was blocking the door like I was a threat. A couple neighbors looked out their windows, which made me even more irritated. Caleb didn't come to the door at all. He just texted that he needed time to process. I told him this was ridiculous and that he was turning a small argument into some dramatic separation. He ignored that. He eventually texted that he'd be home later, and I said fine, even though it wasn't fine. When I got home, I sent him a long text, basically outlining what I expected from him if he wanted to move forward, not crazy stuff, just basic relationship work, like actually acknowledging when he hurts my feelings and not disappearing whenever things get uncomfortable. I said I was willing to work on things, but I refused to be ignored anymore. He didn't reply. Hours. He didn't answer. Not even a "got it." He walked in the door around 6 p.m. like it was a normal day, didn't bring up the texts, didn't bring up the argument, didn't even look at me at first, and I swear it felt like he was punishing me by being nothing. Just blank, not angry, not sad, just tuned out, which somehow felt way worse than if he had yelled. So yes, I came back here because apparently I'm living in some alternate universe where my husband openly mocks me, walks out on me, hides at his sister's house, and then acts like I'm the dramatic one. Update 2. So I guess everyone thinks I'm controlling and needs therapy and whatever else you all decided to diagnose me with. But honestly, none of you even understand the full situation. I'm not controlling. I'm literally the only one in this marriage who knows how things are supposed to run, and I don't know how that makes me the bad guy. Like I swear, sometimes people hear one little detail and suddenly decide I'm some villain in a Lifetime movie. Anyway, things escalated, obviously, because Caleb just keeps pushing me into this corner, like I'm not trying to fix anything. For starters, I logged into his email, and before anyone freaks out, it wasn't snooping. The password autofilled because he was too lazy to clear his browser once, so honestly that's on him. But whatever. I went through it because I needed to see if he was telling other people some twisted version of the story. The inbox was literally empty, like suspiciously empty. No starred messages, no drafts, no nothing. And before someone says he cleans his inbox, he doesn't. I know he doesn't. The man had an unread Ulta coupon in there for a year. So you tell me how suddenly it's pristine. I'm not an idiot. And of course when I point this out, everyone jumps to, "You're paranoid." Okay, but he's the one hiding things now. Then, since he wouldn't answer me directly, I tried to go talk to him at work, because communication matters. Everyone loves to scream, "Just talk to your partner." until someone actually tries to talk. I brought lunch because that's literally the nicest thing I've done for him all week. And the moment I walk in, security is acting like I'm some kind of threat, like I'm dangerous. I'm his wife, not a stalker. They tell me Caleb doesn't want visitors, and they escort me out. I barely even got 2 words out, and I'm supposed to respect that? Honestly, it felt like corporate brainwashing, HR culture or whatever. You're not allowed to talk to your own husband now? Okay. Caleb finally sends me this long text telling me I crossed several boundaries and need to stop showing up at his workplace. Which, like, I wasn't showing up to embarrass him. I was literally trying to save our marriage. But the tone of the text was so manipulative and fake calm that I screenshotted it for my cousin because I needed someone to see how bizarre he's acting. Guess what? She took his side too. I'm surrounded by people who don't understand the difference between actually caring about a marriage and just giving up the second something gets tense. Then I called my mom thinking at least she would get it, but she immediately told me, Caleb probably needs space. I swear that woman has never understood me. She told me I'm making it worse by being intense. Intense? I'm intense because I'm not sitting around letting my husband rewrite history. I'm intense because I don't want our relationship falling apart because he can't handle being called out one time. I ended up yelling at her because she kept telling me to calm down, which always makes everything worse. And of course she hung up on me whatever. My cousin tried calling after that, but she kept speaking to me like I'm fragile or something, and I don't need that energy. She kept saying, maybe take a step back. Step back from what? My own marriage? Absolutely not. So I hung up on her too. I ended up cleaning the entire house because when I'm overwhelmed, I need the space to not feel disgusting. I reorganized the closets, the drawers, the bathroom cabinets, everything. I moved some of Caleb's stuff into better spots because if he ever came home, which at that point was starting to look unlikely, I wanted him to see that I'm still holding everything together, except apparently that's boundary violating too, according to him. Because when he came to grab some clothes later, he looked at the dresser like I'd burned it down. He didn't say anything, but I could tell he was bothered. Sorry for making your life easier, I guess? Then there was the stupid bar receipt. I found it in one of his jacket pockets when I was cleaning. It was for 2 drinks, not 1. 2. And yeah, maybe it was his sister, but you can't tell me he didn't purposely hide the receipt by stuffing it into the inner lining like that. And even if it was his sister, he knows exactly how it looks right now. If you want your wife to feel safe and respected, maybe don't go drinking with other people while avoiding your own house. I posted the receipt here because I honestly wanted outside perspectives, but apparently everyone online is suddenly a therapist. People kept telling me I'm spiraling and need help. No, what I need is a husband who doesn't run away the second things aren't convenient for him. Reddit loves acting like women are always dramatic when men do stupid things. So yeah, that's where things stand. Caleb won't come home. He won't answer calls. He sends these vague, cold texts acting like I'm the one who started all of this when all I did was try to correct him one time. And I swear the more he tries to weaponize this boundary thing, the more I'm realizing I'm going to have to be the one who actually takes control of the situation. Update 3. Okay, so before everyone starts acting like they know my marriage better than I do, let me just say this. Don't judge me until you hear everything. Because apparently, half the people in my life are suddenly worried about me when I'm literally the only one trying to keep this relationship together. So, yeah, things got worse. Way worse. And honestly, it's not even my fault. It's the way Caleb keeps twisting every single thing I say or do like he's some kind of victim. And I'm sick of people pretending like him repeating my words back at me was fair. It wasn't fair, it was disrespectful, and it set off a chain reaction he refuses to take accountability for. Anyway, so after my last update, Caleb basically stopped responding to me at all. He was answering texts in like 1-word replies, and when he came to grab his stuff the other day, he literally acted like I wasn't even there. He didn't look at me, didn't say anything, just walked in, grabbed clothes, and left like I'm some stranger in our own house. And I'm sorry, but that isn't normal marriage behavior no matter what Reddit keeps saying. So fine. I decided I needed to talk to him face to face because he clearly wasn't going to initiate anything. And since he still refuses to come home, the only option was going to his sister's place. And before you say anything, yes, I know I already went there. Yes, I know she told me not to come back. But honestly, she's always had some weird attitude toward me, so that wasn't going to stop me. I drove over there and knocked on the door like a normal person. No answer. So I knocked again, still nothing. I know someone was home because I could hear the TV. I'm not stupid. So yeah, I knocked harder. Not like pounding, just firm. Then she finally opened the door and literally didn't even try to hide the annoyed look on her face. She said she wasn't letting me in, like she owns the whole street or something. She said if I didn't leave, she'd call the police, over me knocking, on a family member's door. That's unhinged. I told her she was being a broken, bitter woman projecting her issues, and she slammed the door in my face like I'm the problem, whatever. Caleb actually came outside a minute later, and instead of being relieved I came all the way over to try to fix things, he stood behind the screen door and talked to me like he didn't trust me. And this part really annoyed me. He didn't let me inside because he said, it's not a good time. Not a good time? For your wife? But also somehow he has time to run away and hide here? Right. He was acting like I'm some unpredictable person, which is honestly ridiculous considering I've been trying to have a conversation for days. He kept giving me these weird, calm, one-sentence answers and acting like I'm the one making everything dramatic, which is funny because the only reason I raised my voice at all was because he kept saying, I don't want to talk right now, like that's even an option when we're married. And, okay, maybe I said some things about his sister's parenting and her house being depressing because she kept hovering behind him like she was auditioning for a victim role, but that wasn't even the main point of the conversation. She kept inserting herself into our issue and acting like Caleb needed her protection. From me, his wife. Ridiculous. The whole conversation was useless anyway because Caleb just said, I'm going inside, and walked away mid-sentence. Literally just turned around and closed the door like I didn't exist. I stood there for a second because I honestly couldn't believe he did that. I drove all the way over there, made an effort, and he just walked off. So I went home and made a full list of conditions to fix this marriage. And before people call me controlling, these are bare minimum relationship expectations. Things like him agreeing to check in emotionally a few times a week, not using my own words to hurt me, communicating before he needs space, and being affectionate when I ask. That's literally normal. Married people do that without acting like it's torture. He texted back, we're not doing this anymore. That's it. That one sentence. No explanation, no suggestions, no willingness to talk. Just acting like he can end the conversation because it's inconvenient for him. After that, yeah, I spiraled a bit. I tried calling 3 different therapists because people kept saying I need to talk to someone. But all 3 had this tone like they were judging me from the first sentence, so I hung up. I don't need strangers treating me like I'm unstable when I'm perfectly coherent. And then my best friend, the one person I thought actually understood me, told me she thinks I might be projecting. And when I told her she was taking Caleb's side like everyone else, she blocked me. Literally blocked me. Over that. Then my own sister called and said she needed a break from me because I don't listen, and I lash out. She said I need to stop trying to force people to agree with me. Which is funny because I'm not trying to force anything. I just want people to stop acting like I'm crazy, when the only person being unreasonable is Caleb. So whatever. I'm done relying on people who clearly don't get it. Caleb is blowing up our marriage over one sentence. 1. He could have just talked to me. He could have tried, but he didn't. He's acting like my boundary is the same as him throwing it back in my face. Final update. Okay Reddit, here it is. The thing I knew was coming but still hurts to write. Caleb has filed for divorce. Yep, he actually went ahead and did it. And let me just say, I'm not surprised, but I am deeply disappointed. I keep seeing comments like, wow, you really escalated, or maybe you should have backed off. Yeah, sure, I could have backed off. But that's not how you save a marriage, when your husband thinks repeating my words back at me is some kind of victory. And honestly, this wasn't even about one sentence. One sentence was the spark. The fire? That was all of his dismissiveness, his avoidance, his refusal to even treat me like a partner. So yeah, he's filed. I found out when his lawyer sent me the paperwork, and I can tell you it's detailed. It's exhaustive. It lists my surprise visits to his workplace, my visits to his sister's house, knocking and refusing to leave, the driveway outburst, which apparently was intimidating, me logging into his email, voicemails where I legitimately vented my frustration and expectations, manipulation tactics, which, hello, these are just normal boundary enforcement according to me, and even some financial inconsistencies that I supposedly created by being too detail-oriented with the bills. He's really turning my life into a case study for how women in control are toxic. I literally contributed to half of the evidence myself just by existing in the way I exist, but whatever, apparently that's character assassination. Caleb's moved in with his sister permanently. He says it's temporary, but let's be honest, the guy has been running from me for weeks. My mom refuses to let me stay at her place after I tried to talk to her for 2 hours on speakerphone about how this is all Caleb's fault. She just hung up and blocked me from calling again. I'm living with my sister now in her spare room. She said there are rules about noise, cleaning, and not creating emotional drama. I call those rules authoritarian. Like, really, she thinks I can just turn off my feelings and my need for connection because she's uncomfortable? Not happening. Most of my friends have ghosted me too. They can't handle my strong energy. Strong energy? Really? I've been trying to fix my marriage and they act like I'm a villain. I posted here from the beginning for support, and yet everyone keeps gaslighting me into thinking that enforcing my boundaries is somehow the problem. Comments. Comment 1. Yikes, you really dug your own grave here. Surprise visits, driveway screaming, logging into his email. That's textbook how to scare your spouse away. Not surprised by this outcome. Comment 2. Everyone ghosting you isn't because of your strong energy. It's because you've been acting like a psycho. Comment 3. Calling this boundary enforcement is hilarious. You literally sound like a dumbass obsessed with proving a point instead of, being reasonable. Comment 4. Just wow. You had one job, don't make things worse. And somehow, you found a way to be a moron in every single interaction.